On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight, thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blak Smith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Power Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Ancestral line.
Standing strong on the bridge tonight. We got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough black talk of you. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak Smith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tears that fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain, bound together like a chain. Thorough black talk of you. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak Smith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with Sister Keisha, Brother Tad, Sister Marcia, and Brother Blak Smith will be joining us shortly on the Brooklyn Bridge. We got a lot to get into. I mean, as soon as we logged off last week, here we go with Papoose going live. Then after that, more revelations from the Diddy trial. But I say it's about, I'm going to say that because I know my brother want to go in on this. But on top of that, NYPD officers getting beat by some folks up in the Bronx. You got to deal with that. Also, 3 city-killing asteroids could strike New York. You know, Brother Blak gonna go in on that. So we got to have it. We got to have it. We got to have it. So before I bring the crew in, let me give some quick shout outs. Sister Donna, Brother Kerwin, Alabama on the check-in. What it is, what it is, what it is. Sister Farnessa, Alabama, always ready to go. It's on top tonight, sis. I mean, reparations is picking up steam. People trying to steal a narrative. It's a whole lot of stuff going on, but we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Sister Brooke, if y'all missed her broadcast last night with our brother Divine Prince, you need to check it out. Matter of fact, you can catch it on the Thorough Black Talk Facebook page, but we're going to play a little clip of it tonight. So you're going to get a little treat. You're going to get a little treat. Brother Divine dropped serious tea last night. He dropped serious tea, named all the players who were trying to take over reparations and grandfather clause themselves into the bill to steal it from you. 3 organizations that are prominent, especially here in New York City. We're going to get into it. You know, we're going to get into it. So shout out to Sister Brooke for bringing that exclusive. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. What's up, Sister Pat? How you doing? UAM finest in the building. What's good? Let's get into it. You ready, Brother Tad, Brother Blak? Y'all ready? Up on the Brooklyn Bridge is the OG Wisdom Podcast. Brother Tad, what's happening?
Hey. Glad to be back at it like a crack addict. How you feeling, sis?
I'm good, sis. Brother, I'm good. I'm just tired. My week has been so hectic. But I'll get into that a little bit later. Brother Blak Smith, you ready? We're gonna bring the BX to the BK. Here we go. Brother Anunnaki himself on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's good, Brother Blak?
Peace, Brother Blak.
I'm good. Hey, Sister Keisha, I'm gonna have to get you to go get Uncle Murder so he could go I shot the sheriff at the site where that policeman got killed, beat up in the Bronx. I know he live in the East. I don't know where exactly, but I'm good. Peace to the family. Peace to the panel. Peace to those watching in the future. Let's go in. I'm ready. Shots by.
My brother. We telling our age, Brother Blak.
Sister Farnessa said the troublemakers is in the building.
Holla. Oh, man. Sister Keisha, we can't hear you.
Sister Marcia, you ready to rock? All right. Up on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Winker early today, huh?
Let's go. Let's get it. Sister Marcia.
Wingyal.
Happy Blacktastic Thursday, everyone. I hope all is well. I hope we are having did we have a good weekend? A lot of things happened over the weekend. A lot of things that happened all over the world. And, we're here to chit chat about it.
Yeah, a lot of shenanigans, sis. Sister Amanette, too, in the Midwest crew. What's happening? We ready to rock. So, as soon as, what else, Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, Suffolk County, what's happening? Soon as we logged off last week, I done get comfortable, about to go to sleep. I had to shoot a message over to Brother Tad and Sister Marcia. I'm like, why should I be the only one disturbed by this foolishness here with Papoose and, his soon-to-be ex-wife, Remy Ma. Now, I don't know if you've all seen it. You can at your own leisure. But you can go to his Instagram and watch the replay. Now, I got to go to the crew. What did y'all think about Papooses expose, if you will, on his relationship with Remy Ma? Brother, Sister Marcia.
You know, I don't want to say deaf to Black love, but deaf to not working on it, not building, not finding solutions, and weaponizing each other. You know, if that's the case, if every time we can't see eye to eye and we can't find that bridge, we start weaponizing each other, it's not it's not healthy. And then remember all the little people in your family that's involved, right, that will hear the playback. This is not, 1930, where whatever happened stayed in the minds of people that it happened to. Now it's, real recordings that are going to forever be in the ether spaces. And so that part is really disheartening. um and then there is his truth, her truth, the truth they both not saying, and the truth we'll never know. So we'll just have to leave it right there. I find it very disturbing that they find interspaces is where they're having their public counseling. Find somewhere better, because I don't really want to know these details, right? Oh, I relocated so that she could stay next to her people, so she could move, and I lost millions, and that. If this is what you chose to do to build a family, don't throw it back. That's what you did. Leave it at that. But I don't know.
Brother Tad, your take on it. I hear you, Sister Marcia. Brother Tad, your take on this
Uh,
Remy Papoose saga.
my take on it. One of the sad things about what we do, Sister Keisha, is we're blessed slash cursed with foresight. I can say years ago I seen this coming. Didn't want to put it out there. Black love, we want to celebrate that. But anytime somebody keeps having to make a proclamation, you can tell that there's trouble in paradise. And not necessarily on the end of Papoose per se, though he was the one promoting black love. I could see that he was into her more than she was into him. Part one. Part two, I thought she was too masculine for a dude of Papoose caliber. Cause he still hold that bed style Brownsville aura. We try to keep things under wraps. You try to keep your business your business. Remy said they wasn't dealing, they weren't intimate since 2022. That's about 3 years. He started dealing with Clarissa Shields last August. But it's only because she was sloppy in her dealings with her dude that everybody knew about it. I mean, we seen them on Fox 5 News. She's paying dues to battle him, to put money in his pocket, and he's getting smoked by every MC. It just wasn't a good look. In terms of family matters, I think I said this before, all of that stuff should be kept at home. You don't make the other person look bad. You don't make your wife look bad. You don't make your husband look bad. You make yourself look bad, because it's almost as if you didn't love this person. And as Sister Marcia said, you got young people involved. Y'all have a child together. You shouldn't be carrying on like this publicly. There was a lot of revelations made, because I didn't know Papoose' son was his daughter now, and no knock on that. Shout out to him, because a lot of brothers in my generation, we're from the era where we don't really support that. But society has infiltrated the black family so bad that as couples, black men and black women aren't getting along. That let alone our children aren't following our family values that were laid out. So this is nasty all across the board. And I pray that they can heal whatever they're going through, and they can reconcile and make amends. And I doubt they'll get back, because it's too far gone, too much mud and shit been flung. But hopefully they could come to an amicable agreement, that they could get back in that space of black love and show people what black love looks like without even being in a relationship. That's one thing I will always give my mother and my father. Though they weren't together most of my life, like, that respect has always been there for one another. And it helped make me a grounded a grounded person, you know what I'm saying, learning how to deal with relationships. And what I realized, a lot of people wasn't raised like I was raised. I got love on both sides of the family. So hopefully these children that have to go through the public embarrassment could get the healing and still be loved and nurtured on both sides of the family. Because there's so much more I can say about Remy, but I'm gonna land my plane right here.
I feel you, Brother Tad. Again, people have to stop looking towards celebrity for images of love. And I can't stress this enough to anyone in a relationship, a marriage, what have you. Listen to no one.
Word.
Listen to no one. And the reason why I say that, and I don't mean like, when people are giving you sound advice. That's not what I mean. What I mean is it's your responsibility in a relationship to not only know yourself, but know your partner. And your relationship should encompass who both of you are, who both of you desire to be. I don't have to take advice on what I need from my husband or what my husband should give me. It's based on my needs and my wants. It may be different for you. You understand? You may look at our marriage and say, well, I ain't doing all that. Or I'm not doing that. I can look at yours and say, y'all a bunch of nuts. It's not happening. Again, keep outside entities out of your mind in any relationship that you have, because it can be problematic. It can be problematic. And these two persons grew up in the spotlight pretty much. They've been in the industry from young. And the industry put particular demands on you. And that in itself can be difficult to maintain a relationship. Even if someone who works a regular 9 to 5 but work double shifts, that can be hard to maintain a relationship in that. So again, don't look to celebrities for what it is that you need in your life. Look within, right? Even before you look outward to choose somebody, make sure you are content with who you are, right? Because if you are not content with who you are and someone comes into your life, they can sway you by the wind. This is how pimps pick up hoes. I'm just telling you. I've sat and talked to some, so I know what I'm talking about.
Which one? The hoes?
Both. They can easily sway you, just like in a relationship.
Sister Keisha, what did you say? What did you say as far as that's how such and such pick up such and such? I didn't hear that part.
Pimps pick up whores. Yes, they can see that a mile away. Again, a person who is not content, this is how scammers get hold to you. You're not content within yourself. You can easily be swayed. And so, putting out an image of what you think Black love should be can be problematic. It will come back to bite you each and every time, because what's good for me is not good for you and vice versa. So everybody need to stop looking at celebrity for what you want in your life. Look towards yourself, okay? And start from there. But go ahead, Sister Marcia.
In addition, it's also poor communication. I'll always remember that part where Beyonce's mother and her second husband were on the Black Love conversation couch, and she was saying things, and he looked at her like, wait, when did you think like that? When did certain things come through your mind that we never had these talks? So if we're not clear on our needs and our wants and where we want to grow together, it becomes very problematic. And unfortunately, I think in our community, we have a problem to build a future together with someone. Once we unite, right? Oh, this is my future, this is your future, but where is our combined future? And especially like now I'm of age, right? I'm not having no more babies. So there is a lack of conversation with the men's that I see in these streets about how do we grow our next 40 years together without having little babies? And the babies are distractions, right? So now you don't have no more distractions in your relationship. It's just you and your partner. And I think that's where that may be one of the problems, is that they were so busy trying to build these mega careers and forgot about themselves, forgot what do we want outside of making millions, and outside of all of that, what do we want? What do we want our legacy to be? Because right now their legacy is trash, right? So like Brother Tad said, hopefully they can turn it around where people can see them as, okay, they couldn't stay together, but they still build together, and the family still looks great. But yeah, that's my second thoughts.
I feel you, sis. Let's listen to Minister Louis Farrakhan and see what he said some time ago. But it works with what happened with them. Hold on.
I hope that you will hear Brother Farrakhan today. I'm not going to be long, but this is very important. Because as the war widens overseas, it's coming to the United States. The streets are going to bleed in America, and it is only a strong sense of family and brotherly love that can never be if a woman sees another woman coming after her husband, or a man sees another man coming after his wife. That has broken the brotherhood. So you cannot say you love the brotherhood if your desire for sexual contact with a married woman is more important to you than the brotherhood that we are trying to build. And no sister can say that you love the sisterhood if your desire for a man who is married takes precedent over the sisterhood. Because in so doing, we're destroying a bond that is absolutely necessary when the attack against us comes from the enemy. You want to know that who's at your right, who's at your left, who's in front of you, who's behind you is really your brother or your sister. You understand?
Sis, I want to speak to that real quick.
Go ahead.
The one time I was in the presence of Farrakhan was on Nostrand and Fulton. And you know who I was there with? Papoose. Minister Farrakhan wanted to meet Papoose. And Papoose said, yo, the minister wanted to meet me. He said, yo, he wanted to meet me. He said, I want you to come with me. Because by then, we was doing party. I don't think we was doing straight Black Pride yet. But, so he knew what type of time I was on back then. And it was so dope because after he met with the minister, he was off in deep thought. And I'm gonna be honest with you, back then he was always loyal to Remy. Remy was locked up. This was when Farrakhan was on Nostrand and Fulton. The pictures are floating around out there. But it was just so crazy because he was in deep thought and he said, now I know what I have to do. Because he couldn't believe that the minister wanted to meet him. And I said, bro, it's because of who you are and how you carry yourself. You know what I mean? He's been honorable through the whole duration of him and Remy being together. And whatever was going on behind closed doors, he kept that private like a man is supposed to. Again, Remy was sloppy. But we in the age where there's no accountability. There's just all kinds of support for foolishness. Because if Remy had a sister Keisha in her corner, I doubt Remy would even went this far. I think you'd have nipped it in the bud and told her, nah, sis, you wrong. I ain't trying to tell you how to do it, but we don't do it like that. It was very sloppy. And when he talked about the brotherhood, he said the only reason he knocked Easy out is because you shook his hand. He says, it's the only reason I knocked him out because you shook my hand as a man. And then you slept with my wife? Like, come on. Come on. And that is it. Because if you don't look at this dude as a brother, then stay away from him. Don't give him that. Don't say what up. Just stay away from him. But you can't be scheming and plotting and then doing all that foul stuff. That's the bro code right there. That's the unwritten bro code. If you sleeping with my girl, if you hollering, you my girl side, do whatever's whatever, me and her gotta work that out. But don't you pull up like we cool and try to get me to get my guard down so you can sucker punch me. Because that's exactly what he did. So I think it was crazy that it came from Farrakhan, knowing that Farrakhan know Papoose personally. Farrakhan wanted to meet Papoose. Papoose didn't ask to go meet Farrakhan. Farrakhan asked for Papoose by name because of his lyrical content and, just the message that he put out. This is before Remy even got out of jail. So it wasn't even about Remy's celebrity. It was about Papoose, how he conducted himself as a man, that Farrakhan took notice to that. But again, since Papoose is a man of few words, a lot of people wouldn't know these things. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't brag on that. But I'm off my soapbox.
No, I agree. And the thing is, unfortunately, in our community, we don't have skills, right? And we need to be honest about the fact that a lot of us haven't seen healthy marriages, right? I grew up in a household, both my parents were married, but was it a healthy marriage? Absolutely not, right? And the thing is, when we are too afraid to say that, I really don't understand the bonds of a man and a man and a woman outside of sex, then you're true with yourself, right? Because there are roles that a woman plays that Remy never, she spent what? A lot of years. I'm not even going to say how many years, but a lot of years in prison where she still had things that she wanted to fulfill that she thought she wasn't receiving from someone who was supporting her, someone who was protecting her, someone who was providing for her. She doesn't understand those things because she doesn't have the skills that, oh, now I'm being protected. All I have to do is X, Y, and Z. All I have to do is nurture. All I have to do is, nourish the family and all of these things as he's doing this. But you come out and you disrespect the man. You make it really hard for people out here, and also, on the veins of women are trifling just as equally as trifling too. So I'm not gonna just leave it like, oh, he got sucker punched by the man, but the woman knew what she was doing. She brought this man around her husband, right? She's okaying all of these things. So she's not trying to create a harmonious relationship with her husband at all, because she out here flirting with the next guy in front of him, and both of them looking like, oh, look at my girl flirting at me, right? Look at my girl winking at me, and they were standing right next to each other. That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. And it's hard. And these are the images that we see, with plus the images of nakedness of all women out here. The young ladies coming up, the young babies coming up, have no one protecting them, no one showing them how to be young ladies and young girls and just be who they are. No, we are hypersexualizing them and absolutely not giving them a great foundation on what relationships look like, because we can't build relationships ourselves. And this is
Yeah, that's why you got to look within and not without, outward, But moving on, hope all of y'all can be stable within your own, And if you're looking, fix you first. Because 9 times out of 10, if it ain't nothing working with you, it's you. But anyway, some more shout outs. Dr. Filet on the check-in. Philly Finest, what's happening? Brother Divine Prince on the check-in. I was just talking about you, Brother Devon. I'm about to show that clip because you dropped bad tea yesterday.
I'm about to say shout out to Brother Devon and Sister Brooke last night. Going in.
We're gonna get into it tonight, family. We're gonna get into it. But before we do, give a happy heavenly birthday to Dr. Betty Shabazz yesterday. Nobody ever. Let me not go down that road because it annoys me.
Go,
I'm
sis,
not.
go.
I'm not gonna go down that road. Tab.
Let me go down the road.
Go ahead.
We do not celebrate the real heroes. We do not remember the fact that she sat in front there. You know, her husband warned her. She could have stayed home. She said, "No, husband, I am here with you. You are not going out alone." She sat there with her 4 babies and 2 in the belly, or however that went down, but she had 6 people with her, plus herself, and watched that incident happen, and no one gives her accolades. No one gives her
no
accolades.
pilgrimage to Betty Shabazz. But again, you know, when you worship, study, and investigate and do things like your oppressors, this is what the results are. Just like our history and legacy with enslavement. We are in March 29th, 2025. So much information is out there. So much that a lot of you going to have to relearn most of the things that you've already been taught because it's a farce. But again, that's a different story. Like, for example, if I ask a person, because I'm going to get to Brother Blak because I want him to go in on something. But if I ask a person, who was the father of Pan-Africanism? You get all kind of answers, but the right person, right? You'll hear Garvey, you'll hear Kwame Nkrumah, you'll hear, I don't know, everybody but Martin Delany, right? Everybody but Martin Delany. Martin Delany is the father of Pan-Africanism. And if it would have manifested the way he wrote about it, we won't have the problems that we have today. But people took the name, ran with it, twisted it, and did whatever they wanted to do with it. Now, y'all don't got to believe me. Just put in your search engine. Is Martin Delany the father of Pan-Africanism? It's going to give you that answer because I know already. So you can do it on your own time, in your own leisure. But we have to change the narrative because if people understood who the father of Pan-Africanism was, they would have a better understanding on how they should operate. Because what Brother Divine revealed yesterday, people who tout Pan-Africanism, you know, they talk a whole nother game when they're in front of them folks. You see? So, hold on. Martin Delany is the father of Pan-Africanism. That's just a fact. Now, I don't care. Anybody else tell you anything else? They're a liar. Right? Now, why is he called the father of Pan-Africanism? Advocated for Black unity across the globe. Delany believed that people of African descent around the world shared a common struggle and destiny. He was one of the first U.S.-based leaders to promote global Black solidarity, which is the essence of Pan-Africanism. Promoted African immigration. Hold up. Who promoted it? Delany, not the white man that y'all give all your credit to. Y'all gonna stop playing. In the 1850s, Delany actively explored the idea of Black Americans relocating to Africa to build a powerful nation. Glad that didn't work out. Glad that didn't work out. Because we probably been resold back into slavery, the way things was going over there then. But that's another thing, another story for another time. But I'm going to stop sharing this. I just want to give y'all a little bit of Martin Delany because nobody ever talks about Delany. And when they do, they don't mention him as being the father of Pan-Africanism. They immediately say Garvey, which is wrong. Wrong. Okay? But
and wasn't he also the co-founder of the North Star newspaper?
I believe so. Yeah. I know he owned it.
Yeah.
I know he owned it.
Right.
So I don't know if he, was a co-founder, but I know he owned it for sure.
Right, because we always hear them talk about Frederick Douglass and the North Star because they don't even make the correlation between Frederick Douglass and Martin Delany, or even John Brown for that matter, and Harriet Tubman. Because even with John Brown, raid on Harper's Ferry was with the support of Martin Delany. Frederick Douglass just wanted to wait till the war was over and said, let's see what these white people do. Because Martin Delany been ready to turn up. And that was something that them two would debate about. But John Brown was about that life. And he was like, he's not waiting for the Union to come. He's like, he's going to jump it off now. Because I'm trying to think of the author name that survived. It was a black man who survived, who was with John Brown. And he was younger, though. He was a teenager. And they had him fall back, just stay back. For those who are unfamiliar about the raid on Harper's Ferry, there was a white man named John Brown, his two sons, and a bunch of free black men and some formerly enslaved black men who raided Harper's Ferry, which was an armory for the Confederate soldiers. So their plan was to break in the armory, take the weapons, and then set it off on them. And then by the time the Union come, they was hoping that they could have pretty much put a big dent in the Confederate Army. But the plan didn't work out as they had hoped it would. And of course it was thwarted. They was caught, and you know how that story ended. But again, it was with the support of Martin Delany as well, because all of these people were working together in tandem. They always try to give us our history as if it was one lone person, as if Dr. King did so much by himself, as if Malcolm did so much, Martin Delany, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass. They don't tell you how a lot of these people work together. And I think this is part of the reasons why so many of us think that we got to be the lone one, that we're going to be the one to save the nation, when there was never no one person that saved the nation or was successful in any of their efforts, whether it was Dr. King or Nat Turner. Nat Turner, he threw a hell of a blow, but at the same token, he wasn't by himself. And we really need to get out of that individualistic mindset and really start looking to work together. We ain't always got to get along and see everything eye to eye, but we also got to get out of our own way and think that everything has to be the way we think it should be. Ask Dr. Sukiana. Still waiting on that school. Yo, shout out to Marcus Klein too.
Always doing his thing.
His son Akobin, who just graduated, and he's doing the dopest things over there. Definitely shout out to Marcus Klein. So when people want to support an African-centered school, Sister, let me try to see if I could pull up the website where people could just visit and donate and just see what goes on with them. Matter of fact, y'all just Google YouTube Marcus Klein.
Yep.
All that
Look him up
out there. Look him up. Yep. Because you don't know about him because he's not talking about it. He's literally doing it. Meanwhile, somebody else getting all the money.
Because our community loves words more than action. Right?
I don't know.
Listen, sis.
I don't know.
Listen, intellectual masturbation is what is hot out here. Let's talk about getting some work done. Let's talk about doing something. Everybody, oh God, I can't take that.
I disagree with that, sis. And let me tell you why. Because you may have an idea of what should be done. Do it. People are doing work. Believe it or not. It's just, I feel that we have an imaginary belief about what unity is and what doing the work is. And it falls right in line with cultism. There are plenty, and you and I, or the four of us, we know plenty of organizations that are doing work. It's just that so much needs to be done. We have to splinter off. It has to be this way because the way it was done in the past was a failure. That is why we're still dealing with the same issues today. And we have to get out of that mindset of what community is. Community starts with you. Community starts with the family. So if you don't have a tight-knit network within your own family, the community at large ain't going to see it as such. That's just the way that it is. So I don't want our people to walk away that, that a lot of people were talking. Yes, we know there are a lot of talkers out here. I agree with that 120%. No doubt about it. But there are so many people on the ground doing work. You might not know about it, but it's being done. That's what I'm saying. We have to get out of that mindset that it's not being done.
Right.
I don't think I'm in that mindset that it's not being done. I'm in the mindset.
That was just statement.
No, I said people are not. They'll participate in conversation. They'll participate in the conversation. But in participating, you can participate in the work too. They'll donate to conversations that will never come to fruition. But when they see things that are coming to fruition, they're not donating to those. They're not participating in those. And that's the part that I mean. I know people are working. You're working. I'm working. Brother Tad, Brother Blak, everybody's doing their part. But are people galvanized to the parts that we're in? No. Is that a problem for me? No, because the ones that want to do the work will be in my lane. And I'm good with that. But the problem for me is that too many people are veering outside.
But you know what? Don't even worry about them. Because what you and Sister Keisha said is one of the main reasons why I started Party. I saw a void. I said, who's going to teach the babies? I wasn't dependent on nobody else, just the committed people. Just the people who really wanted to see it done. I remember one time Jeannie asked me, he said, how do you fill your buses up and I don't never see you promote? I said, word of mouth. I said, I just reach out to the people who serious. The people who know what we're doing with these young people, they're going to support. All you got to do is give them something to support. The brother Salim Adolfo in DC, shout out to him. He told me years ago, he said, when people ask you what you're doing in the community, because that's the pissing contest right there. What you doing in the community? Where your work at? Salim said, always tell them what you're doing and say, can I count on you for a donation, and see what they say. Mm-hmm. That's how you shut them up. What you doing in the community? Oh yeah, well, I'm teaching, I'm educating some young black children, and we got an event coming up. Can I count on you for support? That's it. That's how you shut them up. Put them on the spot. Because to your point, Sister Marcia, our people do like lip service. That's how you get a Sucker Polite. That's how you get a Dr. Sukiyana. They got lip service. Mm-hmm. Back in the days, it was called armchair revolutionaries. Right. But right now, attention is the new currency. People base their value on how many likes they get, not by the value they add to the community and help lift people up or educate people. Us four here, we've been doing this for years, decades. I'll even say, you know what I'm saying? We've been doing this long enough, and particularly focusing on the young people, because we know we got too many old fools. Like Sister Keisha said, the information that's out there now, nobody wants to update their database. They still want to hold on to books written in the 1920s and the 1940s, when we're not even living in that same reality no more. Sometimes I do question, do we live in a simulation? Because the world we live in right now, we couldn't fathom. I remember seeing Dr. Frances Cress Wells, and I was like, yo, I agree with everything she said, but I don't know about no black men wearing dresses. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. But lo and behold, where we at? And not only are the men wearing dresses, now the men think they women. But this is nothing but a satanic society we living in right now, where everything that's natural, this society is in contrary to that. And I always say the black struggle is a unique struggle amongst all other struggles, because our job is to put things back in its proper place, to put nature back in balance. We know that people weren't born to be oppressed and to be a slave to other people. It's like we the only people who really know that and aware of that. We understand that men belong with women to produce children. These other people got babies sucking on men's chests, acting like they lactating, the insanity that goes on. But we got to remember, America is a criminal enterprise, lack of better words.
Period.
Land that was developed with stolen labor.
Period.
To build stolen wealth. I mean, what do we expect? But now, as Sister Keisha said, we got new information now. People keep crying about the conditions. when the reality of the matter is there's nowhere on the planet that you cannot go, provided you got your passport and a few dollars. You don't like it here, go somewhere else. Move to Africa, move to South America, move to Canada. You can go wherever you want. But the one thing we have to do is break the psychosis of the victim mentality. Because one of the things that make us the greatest people on earth is we were able to do phenomenal things in spite of our situation, whether it's Harriet Tubman, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Martin Delaney. They did phenomenal things with their life. They didn't sit back and cry, woe is me. They got busy. What are you doing? Waiting on your favorite internet YouTube celebrity to free you? Negro, please. And I'm off my soapbox.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But yeah, we all doing a lot of things, and just keep doing what you're doing. Start with yourself, right?
Go to family.
Start with you, and then the family, then the community. That's how it works, in that order. And a lot of people skip some parts, Brother Tad.
They skipping themselves.
Skipping them scales, skip their family. Who can vouch for you? All these people showing up, and who can vouch for them? Nobody.
Dr. Sukiana skipped himself and his family, but he wanted to be the prince of the community. He wanted to be the pimp of Pan-Africanism.
Oh, Lord. New York Post reports 3 city-killing asteroids could strike Earth within weeks, generating 1 million times more energy than Hiroshima atomic bomb. Have you seen this, Brother Blak? This Marcia sent this to me to aggravate my nerve. But she always sending me stuff to aggravate my nerve.
Well, if you've been following my Facebook page lately, I mostly post a guy named Stephen Burns because he's usually on point with his information. Because when I cross-check it, usually it checks out good with his stuff. And he said that we getting slammed with solar flares lately. I think one hit yesterday about 12 o'clock Eastern time, y'all time, and that they're going to continue. We're at solar maximum as we speak. Something that I've been hearing for the last year or two, but I never looked into. We're going through right now when Mercury goes Chasma, and that's C like Charlie, A like Apple, Z like Zora, I like Indian, M like Mary, A like Apple. And it's just like basically Mercury going retrograde, but not with a Mercury retrograde in actuality. So y'all can look into that if y'all want to. We having a lot of celestial activity as we speak, mostly solar. And I believe, this is what I believe now. I'm not going to get into who said it or who didn't say it. This is a belief based on everything that I've researched over the last few years. I believe they dovetailing everything for the fifth dimension to come in with the destruction of those who are not in accordance with the light. So that I don't make this a color or age or height or weight issue. So that's my point to say that. So yes, I believe what Sister Marcia sent you is accurate. What you say, Brother Tad?
So we out of here.
I'm in accordance with the light, so only you know if you are or not. I can't tell you that for you.
I got a question for you, Blak.
Brother, go ahead, brother.
Hold on, I don't know if you can hear me.
You gonna get it? Don't give Sister Keisha a YouTube copyright.
Is this the end?
Turn that off.
But wait a minute. What about all the volcanoes?
Hey, you used to be mine when the chips were down, okay?
Back to a serious conversation. Brother Blak, what about the volcanoes, the undersea volcanoes?
Yeah. Are you talking about in particular? I'm sorry, Sister Marcia. I didn't hear the end of your question.
Thank you, Marcia. Ask your question and then Blak can unmute and respond. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. So Hawaii is reawoken, right? And then they're talking about there's a mega volcano in the deep sea of the Pacific that is awakening. And if it does awaken, its fissures is going to cause other volcanoes around the west and in the mid to wake up. So, what are your insights on those items?
What you're talking about, or what I think you're talking about, is called the Cascadian Subduction Zone. And that is a zone that starts in Northern California that goes all the way to British Columbia, Vancouver, and all that up there in Canada. And it's basically a super fault line that if it blows, like you said, don't quote me on this. I'm just saying what I've researched over the last. I researched this last week. They saying it's supposed to blow next week on the 5th of June, and that if it blows, the whole Pacific Rim is going to witness tsunamis, and it's supposed to destroy most of the major ports in the Pacific Rim. In Asia too. I'm not just talking about Canada and the Pacific Northwest. I'm talking about all the stuff inside of the Pacific Rim, because it's supposed to set off all those faults in the Pacific, causing tsunamis to go every which way.
So I got to cancel my trip to the Fiji Islands then.
I would do that if I was you, sir. Or go to 6 and see what happens.
Okay, well, I think what it is the tectonic plates is shifting because the mermaids are now in sync, and they're awakening the Tartarian civilization to come back and take over the
planet. That's where I was going to go with it. Did you ever watch the movie that Idris Elba was in, Pacific Rim, where the fissures would open and people go down and aliens came up? I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying.
That was the documentary.
Did you see did y'all see that there was I don't remember where it was. I just saw the headline. I didn't read the article where I think it's off the coast of Florida. They're saying spaceships are coming out of the Bermuda Triangle area right off the coast of Florida. Did y'all hear or see or anything about it? Okay, I didn't look into it, so I'm not going to talk about it, but I'll look for a link and see if I can find something. Y'all can go ahead. I'm done.
Let me just put this up because
they're getting spooky, sis. I'm scared now.
I cannot. But moving right along. I got a book for y'all. I got a free book for y'all.
Free?
Okay. Now, hold on. Give me a second. The name of this book. Remember when we were doing kidnappings during slavery? This book right here. This is the one I was talking about. And I found it on Google Books for y'all for free. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Let me copy that real quick before I forget. Here we go. Put this in the chat for y'all. There you go. This is a free book. It's called Freedom at Risk, The Kidnapping of Free Blacks. And when I tell you this book is a page turner, you ain't going to be able to put it down. That's how rampant the kidnappings were. There is a guy who reported on this, a white guy. He was a reporter, abolitionist, but pretty much he took it upon himself to start reporting aggressively, if you will, on these kidnappings. And his name was Jesse Torrey. Torrey. I'm spelling, Torrey.
Jesse?
Jesse. Jesse. Now, just a few moments ago, John Brown was mentioned. I told you, things that you think you know, you have to relearn. When you talk about John Brown, people think about Harper's Ferry, right? Nobody ever in their lives, not a lecturer, scholar, or anybody else that I know, ever mentioned Jesse Torre. And the reason why I say he's more important than John Brown is because not only was he an investigative journalist, but what he would do was everything that he investigated on these kidnappings, and he would compile dossiers for law enforcement. One of his dossiers got someone convicted for 120 years for kidnapping free Black children. But nobody that I've ever heard mention Jesse Torre ever. But I want to show y'all something. Give me a second. Let me go to this book. Beginning in the introduction is off the chain. When y'all start reading this, come back and tell me if it ain't a page turner or not. All right? Just let me know. Now, I want to get, here you go. Introduction. The kidnapping of free Blacks into slavery Civil War America has been a topic of frequently noted scholars, but not examined in any detail. This omission may be partly explained by the fact that while slavery has long been a subject of intense interest for both scholars and the general public, comparatively less work has focused on free Blacks. There is a reason why you, and I said this before, why you are taught about Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. That is a distraction. Not throwing no jabs at Harriet. That's not what I'm saying here. That whole story is a distraction. It's the reverse Underground Railroad and David Ruggles that should be at the forefront of your research and study. The rampant kidnapping, it was so bad that Black groups, if you will, groups led by persons like David Ruggles, had to police themselves, and they would chase down some of these kidnappers and sometimes unalive them, as they rightfully should. But Black people had to form their own community watch groups. And this was widespread. When you look at news articles from the mid 1700s to the 1820s, just do that. Mid 1700s to 1820s. The amount of articles that were written about these kidnappings is profound. So this is why I say a lot of the things that you've been taught, that you learn, or possibly understand what happened in enslavement, you're going to have to re-educate yourselves. A lot. Places like Philadelphia, Maryland, Delaware, these were the border states to like Virginia and the South going down that way. I think Pennsylvania, and I said this before, had the most free people in all of the United States. However, there were at least 10 children per day. Let me say that again. 10 children per day being kidnapped and sold into slavery. When you start to read this book, it's going to blow your mind. Trust me on that. I ain't never lied to y'all. I want to show you something here. Hold on. Let me see if I can get down. I think it's on page 6 or 7. Am I there yet? 4, 5. Here we go. Militant critics of slavery also use kidnap to mark the status of all Black Americans held to forced labor, noting that slaves had originally been taken against their will from Africa. These abolitionists argued that they and their descendants all were victims of kidnapping and were therefore illegally held in bondage. The firebrand by Incendiary Fanatic, a column written by William Lord Garrison, the liberator, asserted, "We hold it to be self-evident truth." Y'all heard that phrase before, right? We hold these truths to be self-evident. You heard that phrase before. That every slave in the United States has been kidnapped. Who wrote it? William Lord Garrison in The Liberator. We hold it to be self-evident truth that every slave in the United States has been kidnapped. In earlier columns of the Firebrand, he claimed the holder of that slave is a man stealer or accessory or a receiver of stolen goods or a purchaser of human being. When I tell you this book is a page turner, y'all gonna thank me. Y'all gonna thank me for that. Y'all gonna thank me for this book because it's gonna force you to look at slavery in a different light. It's going to cause you to investigate things that you may have thought to be true or not. And again, this is just the one I found free. The other books I told y'all about before. But this right here, don't sit in the bathroom because you're going to be on the bowl for a minute because this is a page turner. Especially when it comes to the way the kidnappings were done. This is why I say the federal government, particularly the Democrats, owe us reparations. They should have been made it happen because they were co-conspirators. And you're going to see all of that in this book. So nobody can ever tell you a liar. Okay? Now, moving right along.
I got a question, Sister Keisha, real quick.
Yes, sir, brother.
Would you say co-conspirators or facilitators? Because there's a difference.
Both. Because, for example, the Attorney General here in New York, a Democrat, not only did he allow the kidnappers to go free, he profited from those kidnappings as well, under the table or however way you want to do it. That's in the book Stolen, so you can read that. And the other one, New York Kidnapping Club. It's written in there as well. So they were both, brother. They were both. Trust me. They had groups of mayors. Y'all hear what I say? Mayors who had kidnapping rings. Democrats. This is just a fact. When you start reading, let me know. Let me know what it is. But again, moving right along. Because, go ahead, sis, go ahead.
I just want to say, recently there are about 8 or 10 children, majority of them Black, missing out of New York since this weekend. Can we allegedly tie this into the same conversation? Because, when I remember back in the days when y'all used to talk about Pizzagate and the children being funneled through the tunnels. And I used to be like, really? And reimagining this situation and just reimagining this and that conversation as well. For me, it's just so interesting that you bring this up, and this is what's happening in the world right now.
Yep. It's still going on. Sister Keisha said, yep, Marcia, was just thinking about that. Shameful. Shame. Yes, Sister Manira. It is happening today. Under our watch. Under our noses. Africa is still selling humans to this very day. Yeah, y'all go ahead with that. But anyway, shout out to Brother Divine Prince.
Yep. Real quick, Sister Keisha, let me say this real quick as well. In the modern day era, another word for sex trafficking, especially is sexual slavery. So at the end of the day, it's still slavery. Just the purpose changed for why you selling these people.
I get you. So I find it peculiar, and the reason why I'm bringing all of this stuff up with Martin Delaney and moving into the kidnapping clubs. And this is Jesse Torre. This is a Wikipedia page. Y'all can put it in. I did spell the name right, so I'm right. But read more about him. Google him, put him in search, and do your thing. All right. So moving right along, because all of this is relevant. And so one of the things that is happening is that the demand for reparations is gaining a lot of steam. You have politicians who are trying to hijack the narrative. You have diaspora wars because people, in their feelings about it, and so on and so forth. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Now, we had Brother Divine Prince on our program here before, a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was April. But anyway, he talked about the Freedmen Project, of which he is now the president of, and the work that they have been doing on behalf of reparations. They are the ones who called out the foolishness of groups like December 12th Movement, Ron Daniels Group, NW, whatever the hell it is, and the others, trying to grandfather clause themselves into the reparations bill so that they can be the facilitators and controllers of it. Now, anybody who knows anything about December 12th Movement, he mentioned National Action Network, all of these groups are the community arms of the Democratic Party. All of them. All of them. And I don't care what they say. I can prove it. All of them. So anyway, there was meetings that took place, and the Freedom Project was able to get them folks pulled out of the bill. Sister Pat said, unfortunately, kiss the paper. Facts, sis. But he talked about these groups that were in the way. Now, the bill as it stands is unconstitutional, and it's a farce. And I said that when I first met Sister Brooke. This is garbage. This is garbage. I just know because I can read and I can comprehend. But anyway, he talked about last night some of the things and some of the groups that are in the way as far as reparations is concerned, as far as lineage-based reparations is concerned. And then there are other city council folks who don't look like us, but definitely in support, right? I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to play this clip and we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Hold on.
Reached out to a number of organizations in the early days of this because one of the things that we were told explicitly and directly when we attempted to explain to the legislators, hey, there's a way to get reparations right. Matter of fact, there's a way to get policies right that we're talking about we need, whether we're talking about housing or jobs or things above and beyond DEI and affirmative action. There's a way to do it. We have a way.
Wait, don't go there yet. I didn't get there yet. Whoa, don't get there.
So let me just fix. So
but I want to know specifically.
Yes.
The organizations that you reached out to.
Yes. So, and I brought that up, but let me just say what I was going to say, but not the whole kit and caboodle.
Okay.
So what I was saying is that when we advocated and told them, hey, there's a way for us to get the policies that we need and we deserve, we were told explicitly and directly that the Afro-Caribbean politicians would not support it, meaning reparations, unless they and their constituents were allowed to get a piece.
Pause. What did he say? Hold on, I messed that up. What did he say? Unless they can get a piece, they ain't want no part of it. But they Pan-African. That's what they call themselves, right? Okay.
Do they?
Sure they do. Ron Daniels calls himself Pan-Africanist. Some of these organizations, and he's going to mention, go to their website. And then, again, the arrogance of it all. The arrogance of it all. This is why we having problems now. But I'm going to get off my soapbox, continue to play. Hold on.
And something just didn't vibe with me about that. I really believed that they were lying, right? I was like, why would they try to lie? Why would they try to pit us against this other group? And so I said, you know what? Let me reach out on my own. Even if they're hostile, even if they say no or whatever, let's just find out who's who. If you're telling me this is the reality, I want to find out for myself. And so here is you told me to compile a list earlier today. I have that list.
Yes, I did.
Yes, I couldn't go right now I have a list of the top 15. So I'll do that.
15 is, so I want you to understand. I want everybody to understand. You said the top 15, which means you reached out to a lot more than 15. But this is just all you brought today. So how many in total? Just a range, you don't have to give me an exact number, but like just a range of how many organizations. And you've already let us know that you are the only one for the freedmen. So how many Black organizations did you reach out to?
I want to say we're probably in the realm of about 50. So 50. What was so surprising about it is that, again, in this space, in the beginning, we weren't being told that we were xenophobic yet, right? But after we pushed, we were told that we were xenophobic. But in my mind, I'm like, are y'all insane? There's 50 organizations that I reached out to that don't fight for us at all, that we are not a part of, that we can't even join.
And what are those 15 organizations that you
Here go to 15 organizations. The Caribbean Equality Project, the Caribbean American Restaurant Association, the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce, Caribbean American Bar Association, Caribbean American Center of New York, Caribbean Cultural Center African Diaspora Institute, the Barbados Cancer Association. I started getting desperate. I was going, let me just find anybody, because somebody got to say yes. Caribbean American Medical and Scientific Association, the African Services Committee, the Sauti Yetu Center for African Women and Families, the African Communities Together organization, Africa Center, African Refuge, and one of my favorites, Association des Sénégalais d'Amérique. None. Absolutely none. Zero.
What'd he say? None. Not one. Not one. But these are the same. Go ahead, brother.
I got a question, Sister Keisha. What was the justification, if any, stated as to why Tether should get anything, if they put any out?
Do you know what a tether is?
You taught me that about 3 months ago when I kept calling myself and Marcia once, and you explained it to me. So why, now that I answered yes, did they give a stated reason as to why they feel entitled to such?
Why would a tether even do that? They not gonna. It was no response. He got no response. Not maybe we'll think about it, we'll consider it. No response.
But they should. So I feel like, again, it goes back to the whole system of education, right? These people are coming in head down, hunkering down. They know nothing about what's happening here. Yeah, they'll know about a particular moment and event that responds to them, but they don't know anything about Black America. They don't know about what Black people in America have contributed or suffered through, because when they go into their educational system is teaching them what they want them to know. And again, when our people are not given the information, and go find the information, well, when you don't know what you're looking for, you're gonna go down a rabbit hole that you don't belong into. I fear the problem is most people don't know the education of the country that they live in, nor the education that they from the country that they came from. They don't understand that the colonizer there is the same colonizer here in a different package. I fear that, we want them to consider certain things about America, the land that they're living on, and to fight for it, but they're not considering that. They could care less. They formed their association because they found that no one out here was out there helping them. So the Caribbean Life Association of whatever, they're dealing with Caribbean life associations. And I bet you one thing or another, they're not teaching the Caribbean life folks in that organization the Caribbean story. They're not going back to say, well, this is our story and let's tie it into the Americas and how can we build a bridge? They don't care about building a bridge. They care about what's going to be for them, and that's it. And we need to just be honest about that, the same way we need to be honest that people are out here going to these meetings just to get the information and then not supporting any organizations that's really doing action on the ground.
Go ahead, sis.
And they still ain't gonna get shit anyway.
No, people are gonna get shit.
They're not gonna get. You know what I was thinking, Sister Keisha, when you said it the first time before I asked the question? I'm thinking like this: do a trick bag thing. You know what I'm saying? All right, we get 150,000, you get 10,000.
You can't do that, and that's the problem. It's against the law.
How is it against the law if it's legislation? Okay, let me state why I'm thinking this way. Remember, if you've been listening to me the last few years, we know things is changing as we speak. And part of that is what we're talking about at this exact moment. So with that said, you could have if we have somebody close enough to somebody who's from a few miles away. Hold on, let me finish though. Let me finish before you say that. If you have access to those ears, and hold on, I'm coming with something because I don't think you're ready for what I'm about to say now.
You're taking too long. Get to
the point. Wow. Anyway, what I'm saying is, can anyone explain to me why the president would pardon or commute sentences for people who are known criminals? I'm not, whether you like them or not, it's not. They've been convicted and they kind of admitted it, to, did what they did and so on and so forth, and that's in the past. And they're commuted. I don't know them, so I'm not making it personal. What I'm saying is, as we see those kind of moves being made, there's some kind of leverage going on in there somewhere. What is it? I don't know. I'm not saying I know. So with that said, okay, I think you know where I'm going. I'm done.
Something totally different. Pardoning is within the law. You cannot grandfather yourself into something that has nothing to do with you. So say, for example, if Marcia sues me for $100 and you witness me take that $100 from Marcia, you witness me go to Macy's and spend that $100. You witness me bring the merchandise out of the store with that stolen $100. This is what the law says. Tad cannot grandfather clause himself into my case because Marcia stole, or I stole $50 from Marcia, from him. You can't do that. That's a separate entity. And this is why we never got reparations from the beginning. The argument is unconstitutional. The mere fact that they live or reside within this country and refuse to educate themselves, they are goddamn liars. That they live in this country and they don't know nothing about our story here in this country. They are liars, and I'm not letting that slide. You all walk around with one of these. You can Google. I'm not letting. Hold on. I'll let y'all have your spill. I am not letting that slide. You have an organization. That means you've been here long enough to form an organization. Your mantra, your about page, does not talk about all of Black US or all of Black New York or all of Black Queens. Your mantra, your about page specifically said everything that Divine mentioned. The Caribbean Association for this, the association of that. There was nothing, and I mean nothing, about our plight involved in that. And I get it. I get it. I get it. What I don't like, what I will not let slide, and the jig is up for everybody, is that you can't come to the rescue for the people who built the country of which you reside. You can't come to the rescue, just like Labor Day. Everybody waving their flag. For decades, this parade has happened. I have never, ever seen one person of Caribbean descent walk around with their flag and a Black American flag. Never has happened. Never has happened. But when you go to Harlem to the African American Day Parade, it's the last parade of the goddamn season. Everybody is wearing red, black, and green, inclusive of everyone. I'm not letting this nonsense slide anymore. Now, for example, shout out to Sister Veronica. She in the chat. I saw her. I think it was Sunday. Me and Brooke was out there. I saw her and Brother Raymond from UNIA. And it gave me some literature about things that the UNIA are working on and want to work on. That's what they handed me on Sunday when I saw them. Not one mention about reparation. If this is Pan-Africanism, you mean to tell me you can't, all you worried about is you and your group? Then that's not fucking Pan-Africanism. I'm not playing this game with people anymore. Excuse my language.
I'll let them have it.
I am fed up with the BS. Not one mention ever on any of the literature. Either you're concerned about you and your group, that's fine. But don't tell me you Pan-Africanist and you live in my house and you don't include me. That's a lie. And I was going to approach the situation, but we were busy, we were tired, and we were looking for something specific that Brooke was looking for. So I just let the situation die. But I'm going to have a conversation with him when I see him. And whatever else leadership they got. And that's for any group. When I was with UAM were advocates for all of us. When the BK William Mackey History Club, Brother Ray ain't Caribbean. Brother Ray ain't from the continent. Brother Ray led the charge for Chanel Lewis, whose own folks wouldn't stand up for him. This is what Garvey says. Sparnessa put it on the screen. They don't have a race consciousness. I don't care what anybody says. So these things have got to stop. They have got to stop. And you're going to see more and more of us who are from the United States pull away from a lot of these. And it's already happening. We cannot be the caucus for everybody. Everybody feeds off of us. Everybody does. How long should we lay down till the Anunnaki raise us up? Like, this is crazy. How long should we allow our bodies to be caucuses? So again, I understand your point. I understand Brother Blak. I understood Sister Veronica very well. I understand that. It's not reciprocated. It's not. And it hasn't been. But now it's being called out. And people are in their feelings because you've been feeding all the time. You ain't been eating. I mean, giving plates, you've been feeding. So, Sister Brooks says, maybe regular person, but not the orgs and politicians. Keisha said, not 100% true. Reparations is given to everyone else that the American government has harmed except Black Americans. That's what I mean, Sister Keisha. That's what I mean. You got Caribbean and African folks. I see them downtown on Varick Street protesting about criminal illegal aliens being held up at the detention center. You see Caribbean and Africans out there fighting for Palestine, and you neglect the people who built the nation you protesting in. That's some sucker stuff right there. So we got a lot of cleaning up to do. We have a lot of cleaning up to do. I get it. I get it. We in the age of technology. No more excuses. Like Tad saying, I love this quote that Tad, it was funny as hell, but it's still a good quote. He said, you got the African village, right? United African Movement. Africans on the rise. You can't find a Nigerian or a Liberian nowhere. That's cold. That's cold. Nobody can give me no reason. I'm going to get off my soapbox, though. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Now, I just want to add on to what you're saying, sis, because that's 100% right. Because, you know, I feel some kind of way because I don't go through it with my Pan-African brothers. Because for those of y'all who know or may not know, I don't do too much arguing. I'm not going to do no back and forth with people. I'm not having no piss contest. But everything you stated, sis, was right and exact. And like we said, from Amadou Diallo to you name them. You name them. Black Americans have been on the front line. And like you said, they be out there waving a flag, and ain't nothing wrong with that. The problem is, right, sis, is they have a problem with us. You know what I'm saying? Representing our nation. First of all, and this is the one thing, this is why me and Doggy did the show with our lineage and our ancestry. You know what I'm saying? Because as we stated here plenty of times, it takes about 1,000 people to make one you. We're not a monolithic group of people. Sure enough, as we talking about free blacks during our enslavement, how were these black people free? Not all black people came here from Africa by way of Africa. Not all black people came as slaves. And we have to start shaking that narrative and that rhetoric. We know black people, and that's what's so funny. People quick to cite Van Sertima and all these other scholars say, yeah, black people been here. We've been here. That's right, we've been here. So why do we have to be always the enslaved? Now, me personally, Tad Cromwell, me personally, I've traced part of my ancestry back to the enslavement of our people. But I also traced another part of my lineage to the black people that were already here. But even when you read Pablo Vasco Nunez and you read Columbus, you read all of these early European explorers' journals and diaries, they talk about seeing dark-skinned people here, people who look like people from Africa, but they know they're not in Africa. It was already black people here. So as we study more, as we start doing our own bloodline and our own family history, and we're finding the truth, and we're starting to realize not only do we all not share the same history, but y'all don't even support us in our home. And don't think it's disrespectful. People get here, they cosplay us, they act like us, grab their couch, word up, son, word up, son. But then when they get around their family, that's when all the thick accents and the second language and the Creole and the patois and all that come out. And that's all well and good. I don't have a problem with that. Again, my problem is the contradiction of people having a problem with me identifying myself, of practicing knowledge of self, self-actualization. I know who I am. I can tell you who my grandfather's grandfather was. On my father and my mother's side, I can tell you who my grandmother's grandmothers were on both sides. Those are not the same bloodlines. Those are different trees. They don't have the same family background or the same family history. And this is the thing I try to convey to people, but everybody be like, nah, we all black, we all black. That sounds good, but it's not logical. Because there's conflicts of people of all nationalities all over the world. Call a Chinese a Japanese and see what happened, or vice versa. Call a Jamaican a Haitian and see what happens. Call a Jewish person a German and see how you receive. All of those people fit in the classification of the races created by, who is that? Was that Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, or was that
Darwin too?
Right, all of them, classification of the races. So Asians are amongst the what? The Mongoloids, but they're not the same people. Europeans, they're the Caucasoids, but the Ashkenazi and the German is not the same people. The Jamaican and the Haitian are the Negroes, but they not the same people. We got to stop stuffing each other in the same box, because we have different languages, we have different cultures, different expressions. Not saying one is better than the other, but please don't deny me mine, because when people get on a soapbox and say Black Americans don't have no culture, it's an insult, and you parroting European rhetoric. You're parroting white supremacist rhetoric, because Black Americans, our inventions, our artistic expression fuels the economy of this country, and dare I say the world. Please cut the shit. The biggest artists in the world are always Black Americans. It ain't Bob Marley, it's Michael Jackson. And closely followed by Prince. Come on. You want to talk about inventions. We've done all this. And the thing is, what we're talking about on this platform right now is not just the celebrity and the inventors. We talking about people who fight for Black people on the grassroots level, and it's not reciprocated. But when we're fighting our own personal fight, and we don't even get assistance, because we don't need none of y'all to come save us. If anything, we always saving other groups. We made it possible for other groups to come to this country. Let's talk facts if we're going to talk facts. And we don't have a hatred for other groups as it seems they have for us. So my thing is, get out of our way, because when we start swinging, we swinging on everybody who's on the wrong side of the fence. And I'm off my soapbox with that.
The bittersweet about all this is this. The most persecuted, pressed down, downpresser man, like what's his name? Peter Tosh said in one of his songs. The best part about being the low man on the totem pole, y'all know I'm a targeted individual. Everybody who's on the bottom now is going to be on the top before you know it. So that's the only thing I could tell you quantifiably that you could say I said today, and you're going to see it soon. So just stay doing what you do, bro. And I'm here to help.
You know, Dr. Floyd, something. I'm trying to share it, but a woman in South Africa gets life sentence for selling her 6-year-old daughter. It's still going on. Yeah, y'all can go ahead and repatriate this foolishness if you want to. Because if I feel that if it gets thick again, why wouldn't they re-enslave us?
Right.
If the Yoruba would do it, why wouldn't they do it?
Right.
They will do it, and they're planning on doing it. And they're starting with the 58 Africans, Afrikaners, or whatever they're called, white folks that they brought in. Right? They're going to drop them in the mid, and they're going to find ways of either using the immigrant population that just came in as the work base or something else. They continue to funnel work-based people. They did that in the 60s and the 70s to the Caribbean folks that came in, and we don't talk about this story. I know I do my independent research, but I know very little people that really look at why there is this disparity amongst us, right? We are not really talking about, people are going to school for 12 years or 15 years or how many years, but nowhere does it talk about the disparities between us as groups. of people, why we're not supporting each other as groups of people. We're just sitting there in our own little silos and maybe having our hatred for one another or not. But at the same token, and we talked about this just last week, these same people from Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad, no matter where, they're not even researching their own history, because we all are owed reparations by our own people, but we're not trying to help one another capture that reparation. Once one group gets it, we can all achieve it. But we're not looking at our story. We're not looking at whether we are stolen people that were brought onto a land, and that, or we are original to that particular land that you're from. We're not looking at any of these things, because all of those things is rhetoric to them. They see no opportunity to again, probably be rich off of it, right? Because that's all people think of. Oh, I need all this money, and then you can't do nothing with the money, right? But they are not seeing the opportunities of collaborations, because they don't know. And, even talking to organizations like UNIA, for instance, that I was a faithful member to, they're looking for opportunities to get right now, not looking to see how I can help what's happening in the land that I'm living in, right? Oh, well, I could go to Mali, and I could get land, and I could do X, Y, and Z in Mali, yada, yada, yada. And then I'll bring it back to the people and sell it to them. So all you're looking at people as commodities. You're not looking at people for people and the salvation of people. So at the end of the day, the spiritual constipation that is happening to ourselves, and that we allow, right? Because we're only after the money. We're not after the souls and getting people right. And let's just bring it real quick back to Sinners. When Annie died, because she didn't want her soul, she told her man, kill me now.
No spoilers.
Because too bad if you didn't watch it. Kill me now, because I don't want my soul bounded to this thing. You understand? So we have to understand the power of our souls, the power of our spirit, and not look to this commodity and money, because that's all we're looking for. And I know reparations is beyond money, but most people are just, so when you're calling another group, they're like, oh, money? So if you're thinking about it for money and not for the relief of souls and all of that, it's just going to be the same old, same old.
But you know what it is, Sister Marcia? And I'm going to pass the mic real quick, Sister Keisha. When we talk about money, money's a tool. It depends on people's value system on how they place money. So we do need our financial compensation, because money is a tool that you can express yourself the way, you know what I'm saying? Give me my money and let me do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? If I just want to get a case of 40 and a box of Newports, that's my business, right? But here's what it is, right? With our folks, we keep holding on to this victimization idea, right? We keep regurgitating rhetoric. But the one question I ask, and I ask the chat too, and if you can, put it in the chat. What does freedom look like to you? See, I always ask this question because the freedom that Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and them fought for, we have it. The freedom that Dr. King and Malcolm fought for, we have it. What's keeping us bound to our respective countries? What's keeping us locked in these systems we say we hate so much? No, I really, it's not a knee-jerk response, Sister Marcia, but this is things we really have to ponder. What is it that we really want when we say freedom? Because Dr. King wanted a different type of freedom. He wanted things desegregated. Harriet Tubman just didn't want people to, be in control of her body. For her time frame, when she died, we can say, for that paradigm, we can say she died a free woman. She was not enslaved. But what does freedom really look like? And for a lot of people, it's subjective, because when people have this victim mentality, we keep thinking that we're enslaved. But we literally, if we know who we are as the quote unquote gods and goddesses that we proclaim to be, then who's oppressing us? The devil? You mean to tell me the devil can be
We
God?
are oppressing ourselves.
Right. And not even as a group, but personally, our mindset, the things we subscribe to, the things we lend value to, the bullshit that we believe. And we don't break out of that paradigm. If Sister Keisha started the show at the top of the show, talking about our folks are not really ready to receive new information. We really operating on antiquated information. And when we get this new information, we still don't upgrade our database and our programming. So we still running on an antique program. See, me, I don't feel enslaved. Is there oppression out here? Of course. Am I a victim of it? I doubt it. I had a court case today. One word about it. Walked in, walked out. I still got quote unquote challenges, but show me on any person on this planet that don't have any challenges they dealing with. It's part of the human experience. If you got all the money in the world, look at Puff Daddy, all that money. Look at Suge Knight, all that money. All of these people, Michael Jackson, you name it. Ain't just about any rich person. All this money don't relinquish you from life's challenges. And what it is we become so weak that rather than face our challenges with the zeal, knowing that we're quote unquote gods and goddesses, knowing that we could overcome any challenge that comes to us, we start playing the blame game. And that's a weakness to me. Excuses are for the weak, results are for the strong. Let's just get busy and get to work. I appreciate y'all. I love this panel. This is why I rock with y'all so heavy. But for those who may watch this on the playback, I want our folks to know that we are not victims. We are not victims. You have to look at yourself as the victor. If you are your ancestors, think of all that our ancestors done. We are the children of the people who would not die. So why we running around acting like we scared of white folks, Latino folks, anybody, aliens? I don't feel nothing. I mean, I have concern and caution now. I'm not stupid. I have concern and caution. But that fear thing, we really have to start shaking that and stop blaming people. Because white folks gonna do what white folks gonna do. This system is operating the way it's supposed to. Our job is to navigate through it and build a bigger and better system. But what we have is a bunch of people who like to complain, whine, and cry, as opposed to pick up a book and learn about the solution to their problems and start implementing it. I mean, and I'm off my soapbox with that one.
Sister Keisha, in this last 20 minutes, can we talk about how reparations is gaining steam?
I just did. Were you not listening? Are you high today?
Give Black history.
No. We've been talking about.
No, here we go.
Woo.
It's gaining steam because more and more people of our folks have adapted the ideology, understand it. How do you know it's gaining steam? Because Democrats and Republicans are stealing the narrative or trying to steal the narrative. Ayanna Presley, what's her name? Yvette Clarke, whole bunch of other folks.
Crockett.
Now, hold on, because we coming to the end. Here. So I wanted to finish something. Hold on.
Return the email in courtesy or return the phone call in courtesy. And the email, which I still have, if we need to ever post that receipt.
Again, he said they didn't even return the goddamn phone call. This is what I'm saying. But then when something good happens, you want to grandfather clause yourself in. You wave your flag, you proud. When something bad happens, you just black. When unalivings take place in Flatbush, wave them goddamn flags like you be waving them on the parkway. So we can distinctly know who's who. Okay? Since this is the attitude you want to take, we're going to separate ourselves entirely from you. And it's going to be real problematic. How do I know? Over 1,000 nurses lost their jobs so far. Where they came from. You're going to learn today. More deportations. You're going to learn today. when now, media is not really paying attention to what's happening with Palestinian protests, with immigrant, because we ain't involved. We are done. You're going to learn the hard way. But let me finish with.
Was specifically telling them, hey, I was told that you would not support reparations for American freedmen, for foundational Black Americans, if you could not get a peace. I know they bugging. So can you reach out to me to tell me in what ways can we work together so we could fix this slander and unite to get this thing done for our families in the same way we fought for things for your families? Not a one, not a soul, zero have ever reached out from then to this day.
So I'm gonna ask you a question that probably no one's ever gonna ask you. How did that make you feel?
Oh, that's a good question, because
I know how I feel right now.
So in today, right, if you ask me in 2025, if I did that in 2025, how would I feel? And this might even be sad to say, but at this point, I would have no feelings, right? Because at this point,
but back then,
right, I'm gonna get to that, because right now maybe I have been numb or expect nothing from anyone. But then at that time, right, at that time,
when you just finished putting away your medallion, not because you didn't like it anymore, right, but because it's just out of style now. You know what I mean? You still would rock it if everybody else was rocking it. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
But so you still got your medallion. You still wearing your red, black, and green shirts and stuff. And did you have that? Like, did you, like me, have that red, black, and green American flag?
Oh, come on! Now you bringing up old.
Right?
Why you talking about old shit?
Because I just want people to go right ahead. Here's the thing: I just want people to understand that we're not coming from a place of hate. A lot of what we're doing is from a place of hurt and the realization that we're on our own.
Man.
We're on our own.
Yes.
It's just, it's no tea, no shade, no hate, no nothing, no malice. Yeah. We're on our own. So, I really wanted to get into that. So, okay, I got a lot of questions here. So,
please, I'm here for as long as you need.
We got to get moving. Okay. So, but that was one of the main things I wanted to focus on was some of the organizations that you reached out to, because I think that's something that I've heard you glaze over it.
Right.
But I wanted to highlight that.
Yeah, I've never listed this is the first time. So this is a night for first. I have never read off the organization
exclusive
that I reached out to.
Okay, so now when you started reaching out to different political organizations and stuff like that, or political entities and things, like, who was the first politician or somebody in that realm that you reached out to?
Oh, the very, very first?
Yeah.
Oh, so the very, 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 very first person we had a meeting with, and was crazy, is the first person we ever had a meeting with was our only meeting that we've ever had with this person. And our first meeting,
who was it?
She lied to our face. I want to set the stage so that we all know what we talk about first. But that was the author of that reparations bill, Assembly Member Mikolai Salages. Who is the chairwoman of the Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian caucus. She's the chair of that.
What's the name of that? I had to make sure my mic was on. What's the name of that organ, the caucus again?
It's the Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, because I guess those are two different things, and Asian caucus. We call it the POC caucus because it's essentially everybody that's not white and a man, even though white men can join the caucus and are a part of it.
So you can't, it's like you that's how I was like, yo, we about to spill some tea tonight, okay? Because y'all know how, like, come on, let's talk about it. I want to get into the business, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you started you did you said that was the first person that you reached out to, right?
Yes.
So when did you start letting people know that the bill was unconstitutional?
That first meeting. And we believe that's why we never got another one. Because we believe that at that point, now obviously in hindsight,
right.
So then, we didn't know what we didn't know. And so in that first meeting, we met with Assembly Member Salages and her legislative director, Joshua Joseph. And in that meeting, they pretended to understand let me not say pretended. They understood what we were talking about. Right now, in hindsight, they were kind of playing dumb in that meeting. Like, oh, really? What's wrong with the way it's set? This way it's set up and blah, 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 all this stuff. And at the end, this is our first meeting, right? So all we know is what they're saying. So we're like, okay, this is a thing. Like, she's listening. And then she told us in that meeting. So not only was that our first meeting and our last meeting with her, but she also lied to our face in that meeting. Because what happened is that she told us, you know what? You make some valid points. Man, this is an angle that we've never heard before about constitutionality and how to get it right. And this freedman status, right? So she said, you know what? You guys need a seat at the table. No matter what goes on with this bill, we're going to keep you abreast of what happens because we need this voice. You're the only one speaking in this manner. So we're
gotta pause for part 2 next week. I had to pause. Sorry. Gotta pause. But I just wanted y'all to have a pretext for where we going next week, because all of these organizations that have legacy in New York, he gonna name them. And Sister Pat, shout out to Sister Pat again, in the chat confirmed what I said about these organizations. So next week, part 2, because y'all gonna see, as Brother Blak says, how this is gaining steam. This is just the beginning of it. Y'all ain't see nothing yet. But we've come to the end of our program. Brother Blak, where are you? Missing.
Probably riding one of them Astros of the galaxy.
I'm here. I'm right here. I'm sorry, y'all. I was just behind the scenes. Sister Keisha, thank you for educating me on the angle as far as the legality was concerned. But where I was trying to go, and I'm not trying to go through it right now. I know we pressed for time. But where I was trying to go was with the leveraging with all the other moves being made by the present administration and this dynamic inside of that. So as far as that's concerned, maybe you could use it as leverage was the point I was trying to get to, and then you educated me with what you came back with. So I accept that, and very good strategic moves, if you will. Okay, as far as everything else concerned coming down, I already talked about the celestial. Basically, most of the stuff as far as the entertainment news is concerned is distractions. Just about everybody that has a record deal has an IDMB, meaning they act. So, for all we know, all of these things could have been put in place for now, for the moves being made. It's made to confuse us so that, you don't know which way to go. So if you don't have a mooring on something strong like anything we talked about tonight, you're probably going to be considered food or driftwood, if you will. And we need to tighten up. it's great to have these conversations because at least as far as FBA is concerned, another name that they don't use too much, but ADOS and all the other applicable terms, it's good that the delineation is happening because, like Dr. John Henry Clark used to always say, you need to know where you at in the time of history. And in this time, once you see it for what it is, it's like me being a targeted individual before I knew I was, and now with the hindsight of knowing, and then knowing why a lot of things that happened or shouldn't have happened already in my life, and now I can make sense of it. So I can step better than I was 10, 15 years ago because I didn't know what I was dealing with by name. I knew I was dealing with a dynamic outside of myself. So to the core of the FBA, ADOS, whatever you call yourselves, fundamental Black American, know your place in history, keep fighting for what's yours, and just fuck all these niggas that I say as well, including my family, a lot of them. Sorry, Sister Keisha. It just came out naturally that way. I wasn't trying to hold back. And with that said, I'm not going to hold y'all. And with that said, Sister Marcia, have a Blacktastic Thursday and weekend. Out.
Thank you, Thank you, Brother Blak, Sister Keisha, Brother Tad. This was great, like always. As we talk about everything that we talk about, let's look at flags, right? And we're talking about flags, or I'm mentioning flags because of the direction that the flag goes. Most of our flags are horizontal. We're laying down. We've given up. Let's change the directions of the flag and be vertical so we could stand up, upright Black men and Black women, and do the things that we do. We've been too tired of laying down. Now it's time to get up, wake up, smell the coffee, do what you got to do. But one thing really, really important to do is to research where you're from. Start with your family. Brother Tad, showed us how he researched. Sister Keisha showed us how she researched. I do little research with little babies and getting them to talk about and to ask questions to their grandparents and people older than them. So get into the realm of giving back power to the children. Because knowing this information is great for you, but giving that power back to the children is going to be phenomenal for them because they'll know who they are and whose they are without any question. So with all of that said, check out Africans on the Rise. We got some good trips coming up. There's a boat ride if you want to go fishing. There's a bus ride if you want to know what's Black in New York City. All of these great things are coming up. I'll share the flyer with Sister Keisha. I hope everyone has a Blacktastic weekend. It's going to be warm. Oh, you guys, I need to share pictures of the garden. I'm about to harvest some broccoli this weekend. So yum time. With all of that said, please be safe, take care of your family, and love on one another. Brother Tad.
All right, family. Again, another dope conversation. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, rocking out with us. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Share this with somebody you think may find this information valuable, or somebody who just like to argue. Give it to them. Say, check this out, and chew on that. But hopefully you're inspired by something you heard tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. Every Sunday, OG Wisdom Podcast, 2 p.m. Don't forget that. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, family. Thank you for coming out, rocking with us on the Brooklyn Bridge. You know what happened with Remy Ma and Papoose? This is what happens when you mix Bronx with Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. It ain't supposed to happen. It ain't supposed to happen.
I was about to tell y'all so beautiful, all of y'all. And here you come with that shit.
You are paying fines. You are paying the fines. This is
she's starting. She ain't even talking something nice. She talking about two boroughs that's 10 miles from each other.
It is that Bronx
You
energy.
gotta be all right with that.
It's that Bronx energy sabotaging black relationships and families.
You sound like Wallow. That was the biggest insult Tad ever gave me.
Not Wallow. Black is crazy. He crazy. Don't worry, y'all. He born that way. He can't help himself.
It's that Bronx energy.
Speaking of
let's just Keisha cook.
Speaking of I am actually it's IMDb, not BD. It's IMDb.com. That's what Black was talking about. You know, I'm on there too. I have a page as well. It's from the movie Messiah. You'll see me listed there if you go there under cast and crew. So I'm up there as well. I might show that next week. But anyway, for those of you who came in late, I dropped a link for the free book about kidnapping of free blacks in America from 1780 to 1865, written by Carol Wilson, I believe 1994, I think. In the 90s, though. In the 90s. That's for certain. So, thank you all for rocking out with us. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. If you black, get on code. If you're black, get on code. If you're black and you're not on code, you're an enemy. Ask Sister Brooke. You know, she had to pull up on somebody down there at the African Street Festival at Dance Africa. Oh, yeah. Sister Brooke pulled up on homie in the street. You know, I was
You got a clip?
You know what? After it was done, she was like, I should have recorded it. To teach lessons that this how you put up on people who are off code. But I was like, she went ham on homie. I was dying. But a lot of folks gonna start getting pulled up on. So y'all better watch yourselves. You might be at an event and folks gonna start pulling up on you if they think you off code. But we'll come back for part two next week. It's gonna get deep.
Can I drop one reference to what you just said, Sister Keisha? They need to watch the movie Drop Squad.
Rent it. It's free on YouTube. You better watch it because a lot of people getting pulled up on. And I'm gonna pull up on some folks myself because I see you, and you operating in our name, and we're not gonna allow that anymore. It's over. It's a new day. But see y'all black again next week. Y'all stay safe. Watch out for each other. Look out for each other. Love on yourself a little bit more. Good night, y'all. We are out.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blak Smith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power Media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves,